Political freedom is the life breath of a nation. So this statement was said by Aurobindo Ghosh, right? So such kind of questions we can expect in UPSC also, right? Like Swaraj is my birthright. This was said by whom? This was said by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, right? So similarly, political freedom is the life breath of a nation. This was said by Aurobindo Ghosh. So Aurobindo Ghosh was basically an extremist, right? He was an extremist. If you can recollect, there are three types of people who have fought for independence. One is the extremists, second is the moderates, and the third one is revolutionaries, right? Revolutionaries. So broadly, you can divide people into moderates, extremists, and revolutionaries, right? So newspapers that are run by moderates, who are moderates, famous personalities in moderates, newspapers run by those moderates, any organizations by those moderates, did they form any political parties? Did they take any significant contributions? Did they write any books? So all these aspects are important, guys, right? And if they have said any statements, they are also important. So one such thing is this: political freedom is the life breath of a nation. This was said by Aurobindo Ghosh. Aurobindo Ghosh, who is an extremist, right? And the second thing is gender angle to the independence movement. So we need to know who are the women presidents for the Indian National Congress. As we know, every year, around almost every year, a Congress session used to take place in the month of December, right? Sometimes in other months also, but every year we used to have a Congress session, an INC Congress session during the time of independence movement, right? So throughout, that is right from the beginning of the INC, that is in the 1885 till the 1947, we have 3 women presidents for the Congress sessions, right? We have 3 women presidents for the Congress sessions. So first is Annie Besant. Annie Besant. She was the president for INC session in the year 1917. She was the president for INC session in the year 1917. Second personality is Sarojini Naidu. She was the president for INC in the year 1925. Right? She was the president for INC in the year 1925. And third one is Nalin Sen Gupta. Nalin Sen Gupta. Right? She was the president for INC in the year 1933. So these are the only women presidents for INC session before independence. Right? Before India got independence, these 3 are the only women presidents. If we know these 3 women presidents, if there is any option that says, gives some other woman's name and says she was the president, then we can eliminate that option, right? So it's better to remember throughout the Congress sessions, only 3 women. And who is the first woman? Who is the first woman to preside the INC session? It is Annie Besant in the year 1917. However, the first Indian woman is Miss Sarojini Naidu, right? The first Indian woman is Sarojini Naidu. The first woman is Annie Besant. The first Indian woman is Sarojini Naidu, right? Here we have to be careful, guys. Here we have to be careful, right? If option asks for first woman, then it is Annie Besant. If option asks for first Indian woman, then it is Sarojini Naidu in the year 1925. So these are the only 3 women presidents for INC sessions. Similarly, Mahatma Gandhi was the president for INC session for only 1 session, right? Throughout the entire journey of Congress, Mahatma Gandhi presided only for 1 session. That happened in 1924 in Belgaum. Belgaum, Belgaum, right? So in Belgaum Congress session in the year 1924, that was the only Congress session where Mahatma Gandhi was the president. So this is also an important point which we have to know, because we might think Mahatma Gandhi has presided for various sessions. So the thing here is, addressing a session and presiding a session are different, guys, right? Addressing a session and presiding a session are different. So Gandhiji has addressed various sessions, but Gandhiji was the president for INC session only in the year 1924, and that too in Belgaum, right? In Belgaum. So this is one important point which is useful for prelims. So the next thing is related to people's movements of princely states, right? During the independence movement, we can broadly divide India into India that is under the control of British, that is British India provinces and the princely states. So princely states remain to be under the control of princes. They remain to be under the control of Nawabs and kings, whereas provinces were under the control of British India. So if we see the journey of Congress, right from the beginning, they were fighting for independence or they were fighting for Swaraj in the provinces only. Right? In the provinces only. If you thoroughly refer either the NCRT Modern India or the Spectrum Modern India, you will have a broad picture that from the beginning, the Congress was INC was focusing on independence or Swaraj in the British ruled provinces. They did not touch the princely states, right? In the year 1939, Tripuri Congress session in the year 1939, that was when princely states were also joined in the nationalist movement, right? 1939 Tripuri Congress session. It was in that session the Congress has decided to involve participation of princely states people also, right? To involve princely states people problems also in the nationalist movement. So till 1939, the INC did not directly engage with princely states problems. So this concept also we need to have clarity. Only after 1939, princely states problems were also included by INC, right? And why is this 1939 Tripuri session famous? There is another reason also. One reason is princely states have been included in the nationalist movement. Second reason is this was the session when Subhash Chandra Bose was elected as president for the second time. This was the session when Subhash Chandra Bose was elected for the president for the second time. However, he was made to resign, right? He resigned from the INC, and another person has become the president for Congress session in that year, right? There is an interesting story, guys, here, right? Because Gandhiji has supported another candidate called Pattavi Sitaramaya, right, against Subhash Chandra Bose for this 1939 Tripuri session. However, Subhash Chandra Bose has won this. And similarly, 1938 Haripuri session, that is also important, right? 1938 Haripuri session. For this whole year also, Subhash Chandra Bose was the president, right? Even for 1938 Haripura session also, Subhash Chandra Bose was elected as the president. So these two sessions, Subhash Chandra Bose was elected as the president, right? These are some facts, guys. And the next topic is Second Roundtable Conference. When did Second Roundtable Conference happen? After the Salt March, right? After the Dandi March, after the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, this Second Roundtable Conference happened. So overall, the number of Roundtable Conferences are 3, guys. First Roundtable Conference, second and third, right? So Congress attended only the Second Roundtable Conference. Congress did not attend first and third Roundtable Conference. These are the points which are useful for prelims. So first and third, Congress did not attend. Congress attended only Second Roundtable Conference, and that too after the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. What is Gandhi-Irwin Pact? Right? After the Salt March or Dandi March has started, negotiations happened between Mahatma Gandhi and Lord Irwin, and the result was Gandhi-Irwin Pact. So what happened as a result of Gandhi-Irwin Pact? Gandhiji said that he will take back or he will stop the civil disobedience movement. And in return, what did Irwin do? Irwin said that he will abolish the salt law, right? He will abolish the tax on the salt. So salt law will be abolished, and also political prisoners will be released. That was also promised under that pact, right? What was that? Political prisoners also will be released. However, not all the prisoners, political prisoners. Those prisoners who were revolutionaries like Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Rajguru, they were not released, right? Only political prisoners were released as a part of Gandhi-Irwin Pact. So after Gandhi-Irwin Pact happened, after Gandhiji and Irwin came to negotiations and after the treaty was signed, then Gandhiji went for attending the Second Roundtable Conference, right? However, along with Gandhiji, there was another famous personality also who attended the second roundtable conference. So that was Sarojini Naidu. That was Sarojini Naidu. So Sarojini Naidu attended the second roundtable conference as a representative of women. As a representative of women. Right? To this point, we may not be that much aware. Right? Second roundtable conference, we know that only Gandhi has attended it. But Sarojini Naidu also accompanied Mahatma Gandhi for the second roundtable conference. However, Sarojini Naidu was representative of Indian women in the second roundtable conference. Gandhiji was the representative of Congress in the second roundtable conference. So Sarojini Naidu was representative of women. Gandhiji was representative of Congress in that session. Right? And a civil disobedience movement, as you know, it happened on 12th March 1930. Right? Civil disobedience movement was started by Gandhiji on 12th March 1930. So this was started with Dandi March. This was started with Dandi March. And Gandhiji has chosen 78 followers. With those 78 followers, Gandhiji started this Dandi March. Right? So if there is an option saying almost teachers, students, labor unions, all have started this Dandi March along with Gandhiji, then that is wrong. Gandhiji handpicked 78 followers along with him. With those 78 selected followers, Gandhiji started this Dandi March. Later it became a big movement. People joined. Right? So this also we have to know. And Dandi March, it's known as Dandi March because he is marching to Dandi. Right? It started in Sabarmati Ashram. Right? So it started in Sabarmati Ashram and it is still Dandi. Right? So this is also one point where they can ask. So this is about Gandhi-Irwin Pact, second roundtable conference, Dandi March, civil disobedience movement, and all these things. So now we'll go to the next topic, that is Kundara Proclamation. There is a proclamation called Kundara, Kundara, Kundara Proclamation. Kundara Proclamation. In modern India, what is this Kundara Proclamation? This is related to Velutampi revolt. This is related to Velutampi revolt. So I suppose you have studied it in modern history. If not, revise it, guys. Velutampi revolt is one of the important revolts that happened before 1857. 1857, we think it as the first war of independence, but many important revolts, tribal protests and rebellions happened before the first war of independence. And Velutampi revolt is one such revolt. Right? So Velutampi revolt happened in the year 1809. Even before 1857 revolt. Right? So that's why this is important. So Velutampi revolt. So this Kundara proclamation is nothing but an invitation by Velutampi, asking all the people to fight against the British rule. Right? Asking all the people to fight against the British rule. This is Kundara proclamation. This is related to Velutampi revolt. This is one of the important revolt that happened before First War of Independence. Before First War of Independence, right? And who termed the 1856-57 revolt as First War of Independence? Please find it out, guys. That is also a famous personality from India who has termed the 1856-57 revolt as First War of Independence, right? Please find it out. And the next thing is Bardoli Satyagraha. Bardoli Satyagraha. Who led the Bardoli Satyagraha? It is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who has led this Bardoli Satyagraha. When did this Bardoli Satyagraha took place? It took place in the year 1926. Where is this place called Bardoli? It is in Gujarat. Right? It is in Gujarat. It happened in 1926. Right? It is related to land revenue issue. What was the issue there? The British government said that it will be increasing the land revenue by 30%. It will be increasing the land revenue by 30%. So that's why this Bardoli Satyagraha was started, and it was started by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Right? And it is in this Bardoli Satyagraha, Vallabhbhai Patel got his title as Sardar. After the Bardoli Satyagraha was successful, the women in the place called Bardoli. The women who are living in that place called Bardoli, they have given the title called Sardar to Vallabhbhai Patel. So this also you have to be knowing, right? So the women of Bardoli have given the title Sardar to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel because Bardoli Satyagraha was a success. This happened in 1926. And another point which we have revised in 2019 prelims paper, All India Kisan Sabha. Who found the All India Kisan Sabha? It was started by Swami Sahajananda Saraswati. This was a prelims 2019 question, guys. We have discussed that also, right? In one of the match the following, this was asked. So Swami Sahajananda Saraswati, this person has started this All India Kisan Sabha in the year 1936. And I have told you the story also around this. In 1936, this All India Kisan Sabha was started by Swami Sahajananda Saraswati. So this Kisan Sabha has made a manifesto called Kisan Manifesto. In that manifesto, all the issues and problems related to farmers were there. In that Kisan Manifesto, which was prepared by All India Kisan Sabha in the year 1936. Then what happened in the year 1937? In the 1937, for the first time, Indian National Congress has mainstreamed rural agricultural problem. In the year 1937, that happened in Faizapur. The Faizapur Congress session in 1937 is very important, guys, because that was the first session that happened in a rural area, right? That was the first session that happened in a rural area. And why was a rural area chosen? Because that session's theme was highlighting rural agricultural problems, right? Why were rural agricultural problems highlighted? Because in the year 1936, this All India Kisan Sabha made a Kisan Manifesto, right? So if you interlink these topics and read, then the chronology will be easy for you, right? You need not by heart the events. So in 1936, All India Kisan Sabha formed by Swami Sahajananda Saraswati for agricultural problems. Kisan Manifesto was made in the year 1936. Then in the coming year 1937, Congress has taken up these agricultural problems in the Faizapur Congress session. This is famous because for the first time in a rural area, Congress session happened. Till then, if you see, you can see only places like Lucknow, right? Kanpur, only cities you can see, right? So Faizapur Congress session was the first rural Congress session. Right? So these are some facts about All India Kisan Sabha, guys. And the next topic is Vardha Scheme of Education. Vardha Scheme of Education. So what is this Vardha Scheme of Education? This education was taught by Mahatma Gandhi. Right? This is a concept of Mahatma Gandhi. So why is it famous? Because this education policy tries to mix education with training, right? Education with training, education with skills. So that is why this scheme is very famous. Vardha Scheme of Education. This was a concept of Gandhiji. However, this was implemented by Congress. This was implemented by Congress in 1937 in Wardha, in a place called Wardha. In 1937, Congress has implemented this Vardha Scheme of Education. Right? The background for this is the philosophy behind Vardha Scheme of Education is Mahatma Gandhi's style of education. What is that? It tries to blend education with skills. Right? It tries to focus on basic handicrafts, basic vocational skills. Right? So that is something which is unique in this Vardha Scheme of Education. And also it says first 7 years of schooling, should be in the mother tongue. Right? So first 7 years of schooling in India should be free, should be compulsory, and should be in the mother tongue. This was also decided in the Vardha Scheme of Education. Right? This was also decided in the Vardha Scheme of Education. What is it? Education along with handicraft skills. And the second thing is first 7 years of schooling in mother tongue, free and compulsory. Right? So these provisions only we can see in different acts in the present India, in the form of RTE Act or in the new educational policy of 2019. These are the principles which we can see. Right? So this was decided in 1937 itself in the Vardha Scheme of Education. And the next thing is some important commissions are also there, guys, because history, one dimension is, as we have discussed before, administrative practices, right? What are the different administrative initiatives that were brought in ancient India, in medieval India, and modern India? So in modern India, we have a number of committees related to police forces, related to civil services, related to education, right? Related to famines, related to agriculture, related to currency. We have a number of commissions. Some famous commissions we need to remember. There is a chance they can ask this, a name of the commission can be given. They can ask, this is related to what? So at least we need to know which commission is related to what, right? So one such committee is Sadler Commission. One such committee is Sadler, Saddler, Sadler Commission. So what is this Sadler Commission? This is related to universities, university education. Sadler Committee is related to university education. This was set up in the year 1917 to 1918. So this was set up in the year 1917 to 1918. Sadler Commission. 1917 to 1918, this is about university education, right? So more than that, for prelims, it's not required, guys. And the other such commission is Lee Commission. Lee, L-E-E, Lee Commission. So what is this Lee Commission? So this Lee Commission is basically related to civil services, right? This Lee Commission is related to civil services. What are the recommendations given by this Lee Commission? This was set up in 1924, guys. This was set up in 1924. And two recommendations given by this Lee Commission is the civil servants from the Europe and from the Indians should be in 50:50 ratio. So this Lee Commission recommended that direct recruitment to the civil services should be on a formula that is 50:50. 50 Europeans and 50 Indians, right? That is recommended by this Lee Commission. And the second thing is, if you observe, this was set up in 1924. In 1919, we had a Government of India Act, right? Government of India Act 1919. It's also called Montagu-Chelmsford Reforms. Montagu-Chelmsford Reforms. So as a part of that Montagu-Chelmsford Reforms, what happened? Reserved list and transferred list came at the provinces. Right? In 1919 Government of India Act, reserved list and transferred list. Two types of subject lists were made at the provinces. So some lists were transferred to the provincial governments. Right? So what this Lee Commission said was, for all the subjects that were transferred to the provincial government, for those subjects, the civil servants should be appointed by the respective province government. For all the subjects that are given, for all the powers that are given to the state, provincial governments, at that time we didn't have states, so provincial governments, for those subjects, the provincial governments only should choose their civil servants, should appoint their civil servants, right? So if you don't know reserve list, transfer list, or if you might have forgot, 1919 Government of India Act, guys, why was it very much famous? It was famous because it tried to give more powers to the governor than the elected government at the province level, right? It did not give complete provincial autonomy at the provinces. That's why that has faced criticism, right? What did it do at the province level? At the province level, right? Presently, we have all the subjects under the state government, right? As of now in India. At that time, what they did in 1919 Government of India Act, they tried to divide the subjects between the governor and the provincial government, right? Reserved list and transferred list. Reserved list consisted of all the subjects that are under the control of governor. Transferred list consisted of all the subjects that were under the control of provincial government, right? And reserved list had all the important subjects which were under the control of governor. That had all the important subjects. That had the revenue subject, right? That had all the important revenue and strategic subjects. Whereas normal, not so important subjects were given to the provincial governments under the transferred list. Right? So this is the backdrop of 1919 Act. So after that, this commission has come, Lee Commission, related to civil services. And similarly, we have Whitley Commission, Whitley, W-H-I-T-L-E-Y, Whitley Commission. So this is about labor reforms. Whitley Commission is about labor reforms, right? Whitley Commission is about labor reforms. For all those who have public administration as optional, they can connect this to Whitley councils, right? There is a topic called Whitley councils in public administration optional. That is also related to labor reforms, labor relations. So this was set up in the year 1929, right? This was set up in the year 1929 for industrial labor relations and labor reforms. That is Whitley Commission. Second is Flood Commission, Floud, Floud Commission. So Floud Commission was set up for land revenue settlements in Bengal. Floud Commission was set up for land revenue settlements in Bengal in the year 1938. Right? Floud Commission was set up for land revenue settlements in Bengal in the year 1938. Right? And the third one is Sargent Plan. Sargent. Sargent Plan. What is this Sargent Plan? This is again related to education. So this Sargent Plan is related to education. We have a list, guys, 7 to 8 committees on education only. Right? We will be trying to cover them. This is another such plan on education. This is Sargent, Sargent, Sargent Plan on Education. What is this about? This is about post-war education development in India. That is after 1944. After 1944, when the power is being transferred from British India to independent India, how should the education policy be for the free India, right? For that, Government of India at that time has made this Sargent Plan, right? So Sargent Plan, 1944, post-war education development in India, right? The Sargent Plan is related to post-war education development plan in India, right? This is Sargent Plan. The Floud Commission, Whitley Commission, Sargent Plan, these are all are different committees, guys. Now another interesting term is Zimmerman Plan. Zimmerman, Zimmerman, Zimmerman Plan, right? You might have heard all these terms, right? It's just that we need to recollect them and revise them, right? If we just know broadly also, like if I'm speaking, right, if we just listen to these also, you can answer the questions, right? You just need to know the terms and what are they related to broadly. Then we can eliminate the options, right? So Zimmerman Plan, what is this? As we know, there were moderates, there were extremists, and also there were revolutionaries. And for revolutionaries, in the modern India, there were two phases for revolutionaries. There were two phases for revolutionaries. So in the first phase of revolutionary, that happened during the time of First World War, right? So after Swadeshi movement, what happened in 1907? Surat split happened, right? After Swadeshi movement in 1907, Surat split happened. What is Surat split? Moderates and extremists got divided. Moderates and extremists got divided, right? In the 1907 Surat split. What happened because of that? Congress became weak, right? Congress became weak. All the extremists were arrested, including Bal Gangadhar Tilak, right? All the extremists were arrested and moderates were not reaching the masses. Moderates were not reaching the masses. So what happened? Revolutionary terrorism increased, right? Revolutionaries increased. They are called Krantikars in Hindi, right? So revolutionaries have increased. They have chosen violent methods. Because of that only we can see V.D. Savarkar's Abhinav Bharat in Maharashtra or Anusilan Samiti in Bengal, right? Raj Bihari Bose. All these revolutionaries have started operating because they did not had any channels after Swadeshi movement, because there is no strong leadership to take the movement forward, right? So that is first phase of revolutionary terrorism. Now when is the second phase of revolutionary terrorism? After the non-cooperation movement. When the non-cooperation movement was suddenly stopped by Mahatma Gandhi based on Chauri Chaura incident, right? Because one non-violent incident happened, Gandhiji stopped the entire non-cooperation movement. Even then also, the revolutionaries were not happy with the step taken by Gandhiji. So then second phase of revolutionary terrorism started, right? Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, all these people we'll be seeing in this second phase of revolutionary terrorism, right? Now the Zimmermann plan. What is the Zimmermann plan? This plan was planned by Germany and India during the First World War. This plan was made by Germany and India during the First World War. Now, during the First World War, as we know, British was busy fighting in the war, right? British also was a part of the war, was a part of First World War. Then what revolutionaries in India thought was, they thought this is the right time to attack Britishers in India, right? As they are busy in the First World War. So they had tie-up with Germany, right? Germany was a central power. In the First World War, there were two powers that were fighting, right? One is Allied and the second one was Central Powers. Allied powers, we have British. In Central Powers, we have Germany. So Germany was the rival of British. So that's why what India did, India made a tie-up with Germany to attack British in India, right? To remove the Britishers from India. This plan was called Zimmermann plan. This plan was called Zimmermann plan. So this is basically Indo-German plan to bring about an all-India struggle against the British government, right? So this is Zimmermann plan. But this was unfortunately not a success, because one common thing which we can see throughout the modern history is traitors. Traitors, T-R-A-I-T-O-R-S, traitors, right? These traitors used to spoil the plans of Indians. So this was unsuccessful because of a traitor. And the next thing is related to the concept of Pakistan. When did the concept of Pakistan come in the modern India? It came in the Lahore session of Muslim League. Just like how Indian National Congress used to have sessions every year, similarly Muslim League, that is the party that was led by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, that party, Muslim League, also used to have annual sessions. It was in one of the session, that is Lahore session, in the year 1940, Pakistan resolution happened. For the first time, Muslim League demanded for Pakistan, right? So this happened in 1940 Lahore session. 1940 Lahore session by the Muslim League. However, the concept of Pakistan was not given by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, right? Find out the personality who gave the concept of Pakistan. It was not Muhammad Ali Jinnah, right? Find out the name of that personality. So this is about Pakistan resolution, right? It happened in 1940. And there is another event related to Muslim League which is famous for us, which is important for us. Direct Action Day, right? Direct Action Day. What is this Direct Action Day? Direct Action Day was on August 16th, 1946. Direct Action Day was on August 16th, 1946. Now what happened on this day? Muslim League, outrightly they said that either it is by violence or non-violence, we should get our Pakistan, right? Either by violence or non-violence, we should get our Pakistan. So that's why Direct Action Day was planned by Muslim League on 16th August 1946, right? For Pakistan, they have declared this day as direct action, and it led to huge communal riots and violence, right? So this Direct Action Day, we need to know the significance of Direct Action Day, right? It was initiated by Muslim League on August 16, 1946 to achieve Pakistan, right? Similarly, we have Day of Deliverance in modern India. Day of Deliverance. What is Day of Deliverance? In 1939, Congress ministries, entire Congress ministries have resigned in 1939. Why did they resign? Why did the ministers resign? They have resigned because the British has publicly said that India is supporting British for Second World War without consulting India, right? Without consulting India, British openly said that India is supporting Second World War. So because of this, Congress was not happy, and Gandhiji gave a call for all the Congress ministries to resign. So then the Congress ministries have resigned. To celebrate this resignation of Congress ministries, Day of Deliverance was declared by Muslim League, right? To celebrate the resignation of Congress ministries, Day of Deliverance was declared by Muslim League. And why was this direct action day planned? This direct action day was planned because before this, cabinet mission happened. What was the cabinet mission? I hope everyone is recollecting. Cabinet mission is basically to finalize on how the power has to be transferred from British to the Indians, right? That is simply the cabinet mission. This happened in 1946. So the Britishers want to give the power to the Indians, give the entire power to the Indians and leave India. But how to give the power, to whom to give the power, that was decided in the cabinet mission, right? How the government should be formed. So Muslim League had some issues with the Indian National Congress in the government formation. Because Muslim League was not happy with what it was offered in the cabinet mission, Muslim League went for this direct action day, right? Muslim League went for this direct action day. This is the story behind direct action day. This took place on 16th August 1946. 16th August 1946. And another important Congress session is 1929 Lahore Congress session. 1929 Lahore Congress session. Why is this important? Because it is in this session the demand for India was made Purna Swaraj, right? In this 1929 Lahore Congress session, the Congress demanded for Purna Swaraj, complete independence. Till then, we were asking for self-rule, that is Swaraj, right? Swaraj is different from Purna Swaraj. Till then, we were asking for a self-rule under the British rule. But from 1929 Lahore Congress session onwards, we started, or the Congress started demanding Purna Swaraj, complete independence, right? And this was demanded by Jawaharlal Nehru. This was demanded by Jawaharlal Nehru. And other outcomes in this Congress session, 1929 session, some important points for us are, first thing, in this session, they have decided to boycott the first roundtable conference, right? When did this happen? 1929. When did the civil disobedience movement start? 1930, right? When did the first roundtable conference took place? 1930. So it is in this 1929 session, the Congress has decided to boycott the first roundtable conference. That is the first takeaway. Second takeaway is Purna Swaraj was made the demand of the Congress. Purna Swaraj, complete independence. And third thing is, in this session only, they have decided to launch civil disobedience movement. In this session only, they have decided to launch civil disobedience movement. Just now we have discussed, that is Dandi March. We started on 12th March 1930. So that was decided in this 1929 Lahore Congress session. And the other important outcome is January 26th, 1930. January 26th, 1930 was fixed as first Independence Day for India, right? So in this 1929 Lahore session, the Congress has decided 26th January 1930 to be the first Independence Day for India. So this is one of the reasons why we have choose 26th January as Republic Day, right? This is the reason why we have choose 26th January as our Republic Day, right? So this was the small story behind why we choose 26th January as Republic Day, right? So these are some takeaways from 1929 Lahore Congress session, right? Similarly, we have 1931 Karachi session, right? 1931 Karachi Congress session that was presided by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, right? That was presided by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. 1931 Congress session. 1931 Congress session happened in Karachi, presided by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, right? So modern India, one homework which it is useful for you is important Congress sessions, which I am telling now. Try to find more points with respect to prelims, right? Some simple things which you can do is Congress session, number of the Congress session, in which year did it happen, who was the president, any key takeaways from the session, or any catchy words or important words that were mentioned in the session, right? These things you have to be thorough with. It will help you a lot in the prelims. And apart from Congress sessions, the other important area is Charter Acts and Government of India Acts. Charter Acts and Government of India Acts. If you are strong with some of the Government of India Acts, that is also enough, guys. You can eliminate the options, right? If something related to 1919 Act is given in 1935, even though you don't know 1935, if you know that that is a provision in 1919, it will be useful for you. So try to be strong with some important famous provisions in each act, right? There are some 9 to 10 points about every Charter Act and Government of India Act. No need to remember all the things, right? At least remember important things and try to solve as many questions as possible. That will put all these points in your memory, right? You will not forget them. So Government of India Act 1935, that is an important act because almost most of the provisions in this 1935 Act were taken in the Indian Constitution also, right? So that's why this act is very much important. And this act is a result of Simon Commission and 3 roundtable conferences, right? When did Simon Commission come? In the year 1927. And when did 3 roundtable conferences took place? 1930 to 1932. In between 1930 to 1932. And why did the Simon Commission come in the first place? What was the reason to appoint Simon Commission? The reason to appoint Simon Commission is to evaluate the 1919 Government of India Act and come up with suggestions, right? Is to evaluate 1919 Act and come up with suggestions. That's why Simon Commission was appointed. And why were these roundtable conferences took place? These roundtable conferences took place to add any other new features to the 1935 Act. So after all the negotiations in Simon Commission and the 3 roundtable conferences, 1935 Act was made, right? 1935 Act was made. Now some interesting features in this 1935 Act is diarchy was removed at the provinces, right? Diarchy was removed at the provinces. So there used to be 2 governments, guys, at that time, just like how we had how we have union government and state government. Similarly, at that time we had central government and provincial government, right? So provincial government for the provinces. So at that provinces, as we have discussed before, in the 1919 Act, what did they do? They introduced diarchy. That means not the provincial ministers are not the heads. Also the governor at the province is also a head, right? So reserved list and transferred list was created. This is called diarchy. Di means 2, right? 2 kings at a place. That is called diarchy. So diarchy was introduced in 1919 Act. Where was it introduced? At the provinces. So this was not at all happy for the Congress. So that's why after this roundtable conference, what did they do? They removed diarchy at the provinces, right? They removed the diarchy at the provinces and they gave complete autonomy to the provinces. So provincial autonomy, this term called provincial autonomy, was achieved under the Government of India Act 1935. This is the first takeaway from 1935, right? Provinces were given autonomy. Responsible government was introduced at the provinces, right? Responsible government was introduced at the provinces. This is the first takeaway. And second takeaway is Indian Council was removed. At that time, we used to have a post called Secretary of State, right? This was created in the year 1858. After 1856-57 revolt, in the 1858, we have an act called Good Government Act 1858. Under that act, the Secretary of State post was created. And for that Secretary of State, a 15-member body was kept, which was called Indian Council. So that Indian Council body was removed in this 1935 Government of India Act. Another interesting feature is, as we have discussed just now, diarchy was removed at the provinces. However, diarchy was introduced at the center in the very 1935 Government of India Act, right? So diarchy was removed at the provinces, responsible government was brought at the provinces, but diarchy was introduced in the central level in the very same 1935 Government of India Act. So you can remember provisions like this, guys. So 1919, diarchy at provinces. 1935, diarchy at the center. 1919, Bicameralism at the center. 1919 Act. What is bicameralism? That means having two houses. Having two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Right? So 1919, bicameralism was introduced at the center. 1935, bicameralism was introduced at the provinces. Gupkar Declaration. What is this Gupkar Declaration? Just find about it. G-U-P-K-A-R, Gupkar. Gupkar Declaration. This is related to Kashmir. This is related to Kashmir, and also have a good grip or be thorough on Article 35A, right? Article 370. What is the evolution for this Article 35A? Right? The evolutionary story of Kashmir. How it was a province, how it was made a state, and now how it became a union territory. Right? The entire history, try to get good grip on the history, because we can expect a question here. What are the constitutional provisions, right? How come a presidential order has changed the status? Right? Try to get good grip on all these things. And the second topic is reverse tendering. Reverse tendering. Now this reverse tendering is an initiative by AP state government for reducing corruption. For reducing corruption. So try to get the definition of reverse tendering. What is reverse tendering? Right? That can be a question, right? And recently we have discussed another initiative of Kerala few days back, Namas Pasha, right? Namas Pasha, if you remember. So what was that about? Introducing local language in the early schools of education for the tribals, right? So the state initiatives are important, they can ask. And the third important topic is DNA regulation bill. DNA regulation bill. So Parliamentary Standing Committee has given a report on this DNA regulation bill, right? It has flagged some concerns related to this DNA regulation bill. So find out what are the provisions of this DNA regulation bill, right? And what are the challenges for this bill, because bill can also be a question for prelims, right? We have seen questions of such kind in the previous papers. They have asked about Maternity Benefits Act in the 2019 prelims paper, because there was an amendment. They have asked about Industrial Relations Act, Amendment 2018, right? Because that was an amendment made in 2018. They have asked about Wetland Rules 2010. Why? Because in 2017, wetland rules were changed. That's why they've asked about Wetland Rules 2010. So all these questions were related to schemes and bills, guys. So that's why this DNA bill is important. Please go through all the features of the DNA bill. And the next thing is Covishield vaccine. Covishield vaccine. Any vaccine name or any drug name or any new test related to COVID, please note them and remember, right? That is also an area where we can expect. That's also an area where we can expect. Recently, we have discussed Sputnik 5. What was Sputnik 5? Sputnik 5 was Russia's COVID vaccine. Russia's COVID vaccine. So this is Oxford's COVID vaccine. This Covishield is Oxford's COVID vaccine in India, right? And the next thing is an animal was also in the news today. A fish. It is golden mahseer fish. Golden mahseer, M-A-H-S-E-E-R. M-A-H-S-E-E-R. Golden mahseer fish. This golden mahseer fish is usually found in Himalayas, but for the first time it was found in southern India, right? For the first time it was found in southern India in Andhra Pradesh. So that's why this fish was there. Its name is golden mahseer fish, guys. And it is usually found in Himalayas. Now it was found in Godavari, right? So Himalayan rivers are different. They are perennial rivers. Godavari is a peninsular river, but still we could see that fish here, right? So this kind of fish, and its IUCN status is endangered. Its IUCN status is endangered. Last year prelims paper, we have seen mahseer fish in the prelims paper. What was it about? Blue-finned mahseer. Blue-finned mahseer. It is found in Kaveri River. This was asked in 2019 prelims. Right? So animals, where are they found? What are their IUCN status? We need to know this, guys. And there was a very good editorial article about Fiscal Council. About Fiscal Council in today's Hindu editorial paper. So an independent fiscal council is something which is being taught by the government. So that article very much clearly explains some important data which is useful for us for prelims, right? Fiscal council is also important, but some data was given regarding fiscal deficit. What are the fiscal deficit targets? What is FRBM Act, right? Who makes these accounts of government? Who audits the accounts of the government, right? It's Comptroller General of Accounts, CGA, prepares the accounts of government. CAG audits the accounts of the government, right? CGA is different, CAG is different. Find out their functions, that was mentioned. And another interesting term was mentioned, it is off-budget liabilities. OFF, off-budget liabilities. Off-budget liabilities. Just find out what is this off-budget liabilities. Now, this is one area because of which fiscal discipline is missing in India, right? What's the issue here is loans that are taken by the government will be added in fiscal deficit, right? The loans taken by the government will be added in the fiscal deficit. Now, this off-budget liabilities are all those loans which the government takes but are not added in the fiscal deficit. Indirectly, the government will be taking the loans, not directly. Say government has Food Corporation of India, that is organization of government. So via Food Corporation of India also loans can be taken. So these kind of things are called off-budget liabilities. There's nothing wrong in taking loans like that, but because of this, it's not getting reflected in fiscal deficit, right? So though fiscal deficit wise, we are good, but loans wise, we are not that good because of this off-budget liabilities. Try to find more information about off-budget liabilities, guys. So, and fiscal council also, so many good points related to transparency and accountability in the budget, in the budgeting. All that information is in that article. And another article was about universal health coverage. Universal health coverage, it tries to compare US and India, right? US and India, the article says that US and India both face the same problem in achieving universal health coverage. The article says the governments of India and USA are trying to achieve universal health insurance, but not universal health coverage. Try to find some good points there. They are also useful. And the National Digital Health Mission, that is important, right? Even in the Independence Day also, on the Independence Day also, there was a mention about this by the Prime Minister, National Digital Health Mission. So what is that National Digital Health Mission? Please find about it, guys. And another editorial article about FATF Pakistan. FATF obligations of Pakistan. What is FATF? Financial Action Task Force, right? That has put Pakistan in the grey list, right? Did it put in the blacklist? No, not yet. What are the countries that are in the blacklist? Iran and North Korea. Iran and North Korea are the two countries that are in the blacklist. In the grey list, there are a number of countries. Please refer those countries also, right? So what is the difference between grey list and blacklist? Grey list implies increased monitoring on that country. Grey list means increased monitoring on the country. Blacklist means that country is designated as high risk jurisdiction, right? Blacklist means that country is designated as high risk jurisdiction. These terms are important, guys. And regarding Kashmir also, there was an article. Please try to be strong on Article 35A and Article 370, right? So I was expecting questions on this for my prelims. They did not ask it. So they might ask it in the coming prelims. So be thorough with these articles. And tax to GDP ratio. How much is the tax to GDP ratio presently? It's around 5.5%. So about this also, there was an editorial article today, right? About tax revenue, right? And all the different tax initiatives regarding tax reforms that were taken by government were mentioned in that article. So we need not search here and there. All the tax initiatives were given in that article itself. Vivad se Vishwas scheme, income declaration scheme, about demonetization, about tax terrorism, right? About computerization of IT returns. All these terms were explained in that article itself. If you go through that article, you will be strong in all these issues, right? It is easy for you. And Israel UAE deal, that is also important. What is that Israel UAE deal? Any important places are mentioned in that. So that places are important for us with respect to geography on maps, right? Or some treaties are mentioned in that. Then the name of those treaties are important for us with respect to international relations, right? So this way, try to find about Israel UAE deal, right? And next is defense sector. In defense sector, there is a term which was in news called negative import list. Negative import list. What is this negative import list in defense sector? This negative import list is nothing but what the government is saying is all the items in this negative import list, we won't be importing them. We will be manufacturing them on our own, right? So this is a step towards Atmanirbhar Bharat in defense sector. This is a step towards self-reliance in the defense sector, right? So negative import list. And recently FDI, foreign direct investment, was also revised from 49% to 74% in the defense sector, right? 49% to 74% in the defense sector. These all things we have to remember with respect to prelims, guys, right? Simple things. If you just read newspaper every day, these things will get registered in your mind. And regarding geography through maps, two important areas in today's paper are Depsang Plain, DEPSANG, Depsang Plain, that is one. And the second place is Pangongso region. Second place is Pangongso region. These two were in the news because of China-India disputes. So that dispute is important for us with respect to mains. But all the places, all the existing agreements between India and China for solving such disputes, those agreements, names of those agreements, right? Timeline of India-China events, these are important for us with respect to prelims, right? So find out where these two places are. And related to pensions, there is a scheme called One Rank, One Pension scheme. One Rank, One Pension scheme. This is related to defense employees and retired employees pensions, guys. So this scheme is also important. One Rank, One Pension scheme. What is this? Just find out. And in Guwahati, we have got India's longest river ropeway, right? India's longest river ropeway in Guwahati, right? This we have to know because some issues are common, like we can see questions on them in every prelims paper. For example, on women empowerment, on environment, any new initiatives in the Northeast, right? These kind of areas, they are like hot topics, and we can expect at least 1 to 2 questions from these areas, right? So in Guwahati, India has got its longest river ropeway, right? This we have to know. Similarly, last year, India has got the longest rail cum road bridge. Just find out the name of that rail cum road bridge, right? It is also in the Northeast only. And in the business page, there was an article about agriculture, that non-farming jobs are reduced now because of COVID. Non-farming jobs have reduced and dependency on agriculture has increased, right? They have used a term called reverse migration, right? Reverse migration is nothing but those people who have migrated from rural to urban for better opportunities are now coming back from urban to rural because of COVID situation. This is called reverse migration. Because of this reverse migration, dependency of population on agriculture is increasing. That means more and more people are taking up agriculture. Now this is what kind of unemployment? This is disguised unemployment.